Well, it feels like ages since I was involved with the launch of a one-day special, and boy, have I chosen a good one. Well, I haven't chosen, it's just the way the scheduling falls, but I am so happy. If I was a proverbial pig, I would be bathing in the dark stuff at the moment. Now, this is an amazing one-day special. We're busy for this one already. It went live just a few moments before we indeed came live, and I know lots of you have been adding these into your baskets already. It's Liberty. You don't have to be a sewer to realise that name is kind of the epitome of quality, of luxuriousness, and we have got the most amazing deal, because normally you'd be looking at quite a high price point with regard to anything that's got that Liberty branding on it, but we have got the most amazing deal for you. And what gets even better is we've got 3 choices for you with these. Whether that's better or worse, I don't know, because how do you decide which one to go for? This is the problem that I've been having. I've changed my mind probably 3 or 4 times before we even got live. Now, I'm not here by myself. We have got the lovely Suzie alongside us. How are you doing, Suzie? I'm
good.
Loving the kind of kimono
look. Do you like it?
That looks beautiful. I love it. Oh, that's gorgeous.
So this is one of the winter collection.
Okay.
Fabrics, so yeah, I thought I'd better dress the part.
But this is beautiful because, of course, we can see that the set here, we've got lots of cushions, we've got lots of fabulous quilts around us as well. And many of you might be thinking, oh no, I love Liberty, I love the kind of prints, but I'm not into quilting. I'm not going to make a quilt to go on my wall, I'm not going to make a quilt to go on my bed. Well, you don't have to. The quality of these fabrics, this is the key thing. It's the quality of the fabric that lends itself to so many purposes. I mean, you showed us there, clothing, perfect.
Absolutely, yes. You can use it for literally anything you want to use for fabric. So anything from your face coverings through to book covers, bags, dolls' dresses, garments for yourself, even just simple draping the fabric in your room to
things like scrunchies and things like that. I mean, the prints are beautiful. Yeah. And the key thing is don't throw anything away, because you will see as the hour progresses, Suzie will be showing us how we can maximise using those tiniest of scraps. Should we have a look at those fabrics? My goodness, you're in for a treat. Now, starting off, now this one I think is still my favourite. It was originally, and then I kind of deviated and I've come back to it. Now, what you've got here is 5 half metres of a beautiful range. Now, you might be quite right in thinking, I don't know as I've seen these ones before. Suzie, this is a brand new set.
It is. Yeah, winter is upon us,
It
despite
really
the 26 degrees outside.
It's not a very wintry look. I mean, it's
isn't.
deeper tones, granted, but
Yeah.
not a kind of... When you think winter, sometimes you're thinking kind of your reds and your greens and your holly and your mistletoe, but not with this.
No, I think with the deep cherry reds and the denim blues, you're looking at the cosy side of the floral collection. So you can imagine curling up under a big coverlet or quilt in the cherries and the blues, with your cup of hot cocoa or whatever other hot beverage you prefer in the winter.
Oh my goodness, we are so busy, Suzie. I'm not surprised, because I mean, it must be a dream for you to get the job coming and working with these.
What a privilege.
Well, this is it. Now, you're not just going to get those fabulous fabrics, you are also be getting a pattern. Now, the pattern is kind of the steadiness amongst each of the one-day specials. So whichever of those one-day specials that you go for, you will get your bag pattern. This is created by our lovely Suzie. And this is a nice project to get started with.
It is. And it's any level can tackle this one. I've written the instructions, so literally if you've never sewn before, you can achieve and make the bag.
Love it. Love it.
And as you said before, it uses scraps rather than big pieces, so you'll have plenty left over in your half metres to do whatever you want with.
Wonderful, I love it, thank you for that. So if you're wanting the winter, you might like to know that already 10% of the stock has gone. Now we've got a pick and mix as well, so if you're wanting the one day special, brilliant deal as you can see there, £34.94. You're going to get your 5 half metres, all picked for you, all bundled up with that fabulous pattern. But you might think to yourself, well, you know what, I just want to concentrate on a couple of those different prints. Well, that's the way that you can do it with our pick and mix. Now with your pick and mix, you're going to choose your half metres. You're going to choose any 2 half metres for £15.98. So all of those wonderful options that we saw a few moments ago, well, not options, all the content, should I say, of that first option are featuring within there. So all those brand new fabrics, you can go for those just in their half metres, and you can double up. So if you do want to go for 2 half metre pieces of the same print, then you can do. But equally so, you can mix it up. But of course, that is not your one day special, that is your pick and mix. You'll notice lots of other other different fabrics featuring in there, and that's where we come on to the other one-day specials. So we've spoken about winter. One that we are revisiting, this is a beautiful one as well. This is your summer. I love the brightness of this one. These are happy colours, perfect for today. The sun's shining outside.
They are really happy colours, but equally there's elements in there that will mix and match with the other collections as well. But this one just makes you smile when you look at it.
It does, yeah.
It really makes you cheery.
And again, the elements that you've got in here, you can pick out, I mean, there's similar prints as you will see kind of working across many of these. You'll pick out certain kind of continuity elements, but different colour tones. This one, I mean, I'm looking at these. We've got some amazing blender fabrics to show you in a few moments, but this is going to work with other things in your stash. You can see you kind of use cerise pinks in there. You've got your salmon pinks in there, those gorgeous blues in there, whether it's a turquoise blue, whether it's a sky blue, they are all featuring within here. And again, just beautiful fabrics. Again, the quality. I wish you could put your hands through the TV and have a little squidge, because when you feel it, this is a fabric that you would sit, and I can speak for, this is me personally, and this is probably the same for Suzie and many of you sewers out there as well. This is the kind of fabric that when you buy it and it could be 6 months before you can even bring yourself to cut it up, because you're sitting there, you're planning your project, you're thinking about what you're going to be using it with, because you want to make sure that it's the right project for it.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've sat and stroked many a times these fabrics. They're just so special. Yes. Beautiful.
Lovely maybe for a conservatory. We've got all that light flooding into an area as well. Bedrooms as well. Lots of little colours there. You'll be able to pick out from maybe the theme of your bedroom. And don't forget, you don't have to have the same colour quilt right the way through the year. Maybe this is the one for the summer months, and maybe the winter colours that we looked at a few moments ago will be a project for the winter months. Or switch it around. They don't say winter, summer on them. It's entirely up to you. We're not going to come back and take it from you if you're using it in November. It's got summer on the label, don't worry. Again, pick and mix at the bottom of your screen, so if you want to pick out any of those in specifics, then you can do. And the pick and mix is 2.5 metres for £15.98. But of course, your one-day special, you can see what a phenomenal deal it is. £34.94. That is why it's proving to be so popular, because not only are you getting your 2.5 metres, but you're getting your bag pattern as well. Shall I show you the third option? This is the nice one as well. You can understand why I was struggling. I mean, which one to you is your favourite? I think, Suzie, and I reckon this will be the case. Yeah. Some people will be ordering during this out, and they'll be ordering one of the 3 one-day specials.
Yes.
But I reckon tomorrow morning you'll be looking at ordering another one, because that price on your screen, it is an amazing deal. But this one, maybe a little bit more pastel tone, would you feel, with this one?
Yeah, this is definitely a colour hue that when you wake up on those crisp January, February mornings, they're the colours that you see. And as the primulas and primroses start appearing in your garden, these really capture that frost-free new life. They're beautiful, beautiful colours.
I could imagine kind of a bed runner or maybe a half bed quilt on white coverings. Yes. So maybe you've got a white duvet already on your bed and you're wanting kind of like a bed runner to work with it, or cushions to make to go on your bed. Well, these are absolutely beautiful. And as Suzie said, it doesn't matter what you're using these for. Even if you're just accenting, maybe you've got some curtains already and you just want to add some tie backs to bring everything together. Tie backs on your curtains, cushions on your bed. It's almost like you're changing the look of your bedroom instantly with the accessories. This one is your third option. So this one is your spring. So you've got your spring, you've got your summer, and your brand new winter. Which one are you going to go for? It's not an easy one to decide, is it? But the details are on your screen there. Just make sure that you do decide before that price goes up at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, because that is it. You've got 24 hours to take advantage of that deal. 327511. Now, if you find getting started with a quilt a little bit nerve-wracking with regards to cutting your fabrics, well, we've got the answer for that for you. Have a look at this. You've literally got your quilt top in a box here. This is incredible, and we have actually got the quilt with us here in the studio. It's absolutely beautiful. You can see there those gorgeous fabrics. You will recognise them as well. Oh, I haven't mentioned about dispatch, have I? Sorry, I do apologise. 7 days extended delivery with regards to everything. It's not too long to wait though, is it? But within the box here, you have got all the elements to create this beautiful quilt. I mean, Suzie, this looks beautiful.
It is absolutely gorgeous, this quilt. And against the oyster white as well, it really makes the colours pop.
Yes.
It's half square triangle designed to make a pinwheel for each block, but because it's all pre-cut, it makes it a really quick project to do. and you can mix and match the fabrics to suit you.
Well, this is it. So within the box, it's giving you everything that you need. And this is the beauty of this. You don't have to do any measuring. You don't have to do any of that dreaded maths that we all dread when it comes to doing your quilt, because everything is included within here. So you can see here, you've got your layout. So you've got your guide as to where those fabulous half square triangles are going to sit. But look at the beautiful layout that you've got with this. Now, this one, Susie, I know we're looking at a considerable price with this one, but to be honest, we're looking at a Liberty quilt top with this one.
Absolutely, you get, sorry.
That's okay.
You
Shall I show everybody what we got, and then we'll come to you in a second.
So you get everything in the box, other than your wadding and the backing fabric.
Fabulous. So you can see here you've got obviously your instructions there showing you these. So with these, as you may or may not know, half square triangles are kind of one of the foundation patches that you will use when you're creating many different quilt blocks. One of the simplest is your pinwheel block, and you're simply taking 2 half square triangles, putting them together to reform and make another square. Then the squares come together to make a larger square, and then those blocks come together to create your beautiful quilt. Now, everything is explained within here. So it's beautifully packaged, as you can see. I mean, what would you expect from Liberty? We're looking at quality, even down to that. I know it sounds daft, but the quality of the booklet that comes with it comes beautifully wrapped, as you can see here, with tissue. Beautiful sleeve around it as well. I know if you're a paper crafter, you will be keeping this as well, because it just looks absolutely incredible. But all the pieces are pre-cut with this, Susie.
Absolutely. So, as you said earlier, that cutting triangles accurately can be a real pain and time consuming. So that means that when you get the box, you can open it and get going. Even your binding's cut to the right size.
Well,
so
I was about to say,
all you need is your iron. It's so cool.
I love it. I love it. It's such a beautiful way to craft. And as I say, it takes the pressure off you. If you've always wanted a Liberty quilt, then this is the way for you to do it. Now, size-wise, do we know what size this quilt is? I'm feeling to the top of my head.
Finished size, it should be about 47 by 55 inches.
Oh, I see. OK, right. So that's a good size. And that's the size that we've got here, as you can see. But we've got those fabulous blender fabrics behind us. So if you wanted to make it larger, you could put some additional stashing in there.
Borders, yeah.
Like
absolutely. I mean, that is the perfect size for sitting in front of the television or out on the terrace, you know, on a summer's evening when that chill starts.
Yeah, you've had the chimney going and it's a lovely evening, but you don't want to go back inside. So using this maybe over your knees while you're sipping on there, like you say, last cup of hot cocoa maybe for the evening. Make sure you don't spill it though, because we are talking Liberty. So if you're wanting yours, then the details are there on your screen. This is an incredible gift for somebody as well. This is another thing. So if you're watching, maybe an avid sewer that has always said that they'd love to create a quilt, but perhaps the price that we're looking at here is a bit of much of a self-indulgence for them. Sometimes we do struggle, don't we, to warrant spending this kind of money. But as a gift for somebody, what an amazing gift. Or a wedding gift for somebody.
I was going to say a wedding present. What
goodness.
An amazing wedding present. Or even make it up for them.
Yeah.
And then you can even embroider in their initials and the date somewhere on it.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
would be an amazing gift.
It would, and be treasured for generations to come. So there you go. If you fancy treating yourself to that one, the details are there on your screen. 3 flexi buys on this one as well, which does make it a very affordable way of getting hold of it with your 3 payments of £50. Again, you've got a week extended delivery with it, but it's definitely worth waiting for. Now, perhaps a little bit of hand sewing or hand quilting or English paper piecing is the thing for you. Because again, the fabrics that we've got from Liberty, because of the kind of the grain of the fabric, so to speak, it's not the right phrase to use, but the weave of the fabric, they lend themselves perfectly to English paper piecing because they're not too bulky. I mean, Susie, these look beautiful when they are stitched together.
They do. I mean, hexagons always look great stitched, don't they? Because they tessellate so well. But as you said, the quality of the Lazenby cotton from Liberty means that when you're stitching with a needle by hand, you're not marking the fabric unduly, and you get lovely neat finish, crisp edges and beautiful patterns. Yeah, I mean, to put together a project with those, and there's enough hexes in the kit to do more than one project. Well, depending on your project, but I've managed to do 3 and counting with mine so far.
Wonderful. As you can see there, you've got all those gorgeous fabrics all on the little board there. Now with these, is it exactly as we've got here, or it is contents will vary, won't it? But you know that you are getting your Liberty fabric. It's all Liberty fabric. You will notice as well from the board here as well, some of these over here, these are your blenders. We have got these available for you on the show as well. They are part of your English paper piecing kit with the details on your screen, but do check out on the website, and these are the blenders that we've been talking about using alongside your one day special. Now for the time being, if you're wanting your, obviously your set that's got all your hexagons there, you've got your paper pieces, and of course you've got the accessories that make it so much easier when you're putting these pieces together, just £21.20. This is a kind of what I call a little treat to yourself, and it's one of those highly portable treats because you can literally take all those elements, simple as that, pop them into a little bag, maybe the bag that you're making with your one day special, and that is your craft. It's kind of the most portable craft, isn't it? Take that with you on your travels, and you may be able to make something fabulous with those little pieces when you stitch them together. 456 900. If you're wanting to take advantage, then please do so. Now, of course, we've been chatting about all these wonderful items that we're bringing to you. They're all on the website. Pop them into your baskets, but do bear in mind that many of those items are on your flexi order, which means that you can pop them into your basket and add other goodies in. So it might be that you're going for your one day special and you're choosing to add in some of those additional fabrics. Well, we've got some beautiful Wiltshire fabrics, as you can see there. Those are the blenders. There is a whole myriad of different colours. I can't go through all the combinations because there's absolutely loads, but we will perhaps ask Suzie for a little bit of advice and guidance along the way as to which ones are good ones to choose if you are going for your one day specials. The ½ metre pieces, now if you do go for multiples of the same, I don't know whether that means you'll get a full metre piece. We'll say that you get 2 ½ meters, and then if you do get a full piece, it's a bit of a Billy bonus, isn't it? But we're talking quilting really, aren't we? So, and well, even dressmaking, you will be cutting into those fabrics. So yeah, you just add them to your basket as you choose. Rapidly approaching 20% of one of our one day specials have gone. So it's the winter option. It's that newest one that we saw, and it's the one that the fabulous kind of kimono that Susie's wearing has come from. If you're wanting this one, be aware it is proven to be the most popular so far. I think it's because it's the newest one. It's one that we've not seen before. But don't worry, the others aren't far behind. Suzie, I'm going to hand over to you. What are you up to over there?
Well, I thought we'd have a look at the bag.
Oh, lovely. OK, and this is the pattern.
So this is it made up. This is the actual bag.
Cute.
It's a cute little bag, isn't it? I mean, I use this for, well, pretty much every day because it's got a big enough bottom, haven't we all? I can fit quite a lot in there. I always get told off for having too much, but I've added in a little pocket.
Lovely.
So you can subdivide the pocket as well if you want to, but I've made it so that it's just one pocket, so I can put my phone or my lipsticks, whatever, to grab quickly in there.
Okay.
It's also padded, so you've got that cushioning as well, and you can make the handles any length you like, but I prefer to have them so it's a grab, carry and go bag.
Lovely.
So it is a scrap busting project as well, which is even better. This was all done in the summer collection.
I love that. I love that turquoise. It's gorgeous.
It really pops, doesn't it? It does make you smile.
It does,
it really does make
good
you
feeling.
smile. I love it. So what I've actually done is cut one for us in the winter collection.
Oh, lovely, OK.
Which I think looks equally pretty. Now, my top tip, so the instructions, as I say, they come with literally everything in them. You don't have to second guess anything. As long as you can read, you're good.
Wonderful.
But it is written in old money, I'm afraid.
Oh, good old inches.
It is.
I love it. I love inches.
I grew up metric, but since I've been quilting and sewing, I've suddenly become imperial. So everything you're told to do is basically your 4 fabrics that your design fabrics, if you like. You're going to choose them randomly into the 4 and cut them different small sizes. You're going to take a 2.5-inch strip and then subdivide that up. Okay. So I've done that ahead of time because watching people do that isn't the greatest fun, is it? But my top tip for this project, because of this, the bar in between and the pocket, if you start your fabrics before you even put the sewing machine on, you'll get a much crisper, neater finish. And that, I would say, is true for pretty much every quilting project you tackle.
Okay.
Because especially when you're starting with dimensional pieces, you know, your triangles, your hexagons, you want nice crisp finishes. You want to know that when you press your fabric, you're going to get really beautiful finish to your fabrics. If you're working with such quality fabric as Liberty is, you want that really lovely result at the end, don't you? So that's why I always use my Starch Savvy, and it's so easy to use. That's the other thing. So I literally, when I switch it on, of course, just give it a quick spray.
Okay.
And just wait for it to soak in, just a few seconds. Have your iron on your cotton setting.
Lovely.
Because of course it is cotton, and you press over the top. And what that does is push that starch into your cotton and gives you that perfect crisp finish.
Oh yes.
So it's not gone stiff as a board, but it's going to retain any creases you put in it. So if you're doing binding or handles where you want a really nice crisp edge, definitely use your Starch Savvy.
Lovely.
Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to do, and then you get to play. So what you want to do is do your mix and match with all your pieces. Whatever you do, you want them all different. You want both sides of your bag to look different. And the other thing to avoid is making sure that you don't stop and start with the same pieces.
Okay.
So I have cheated. Well, I'm not cheated. I did a bit of homework. And I've done a few already. So with this one that I've made, I've started and finished with the deep red. So I don't want to start and finish with that when I sew this together. Okay. Because otherwise, well, you can do if you like, but I prefer to make it look like a continuous
on the side.
band.
Right, I see. So if they join on the side, like you say, if they're alternate.
It just makes it look like you've got a patchwork band going round. So then all you have to do is join them together. Now that, again, is just a question of straight sewing. So if you haven't got a sewing machine, this is still a project you can do, but it's a lot of hand sewing. So all you're going to do is match two right sides together, so pattern sides together, and everything is on a 1/4 inch seam.
Now, do we have to consider the direction of the pattern at all with these?
No.
Oh, okay. So we don't have to worry about upside down flowers.
No, because they grow all over the place.
Lovely.
Which is lovely. Even the, oh, I've forgotten the name, Abbey Wood, the big broad
the more
colour
open design,
with the white silhouette flower.
Again, they're kind of rotated round.
Exactly, they've rotated.
So that makes
so
it easier for a beginner as well.
Absolutely. Well, it also means you don't waste.
Yes, that's a good point.
So it ticks my box big time, I tell you. So all I'm going to do is stitch these together 1/4 inch. Now you can chain a piece if you want to, but, and this is my second tip of the evening. Are we allowed to say it's evening already? I think we can.
I think, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere, not here, it's 20 past 6.
My second tip is sew them in different directions.
Oh, right,
so go up one, down the next. And the reason for that is you then stitch a straight band,
yes,
not a wibbly band.
It's kind of your long pieces if you're doing your kind of your strip quilts.
Yeah.
Because naturally it seems to curve a little, doesn't it? So,
exactly.
Yeah, flip them around.
So,
incidentally, Susie's shown us that fabulous little bag that she's created with the summer fabrics. We've been getting busier for the summer fabrics as well. Almost 20% of the summer has gone. That's the one with that gorgeous turquoise that we just saw. Obviously, the winter is still popular. It's still a brand new one. And the summer, that one's been getting more and more popular. The beautiful spring one as well, more muted tones potentially with this one, but again it is a really pretty one as well. It's a nice soft and gentle look, that particular one. I do like that one, but they are each your one day specials and the details are on your screen. So just a simple straight stitch for this one, not overcomplicated
no
at all.
It isn't, but while I'm stitching it together quickly, I would like to talk about where the designs came from.
Yeah, please do.
Because this for me was just, well, this blew me away. So all of the designs are ones from collections from the archives at Liberty Fabric.
Okay.
And believe it or not, within their archives, they have over 20,000
My goodness.
floral images.
Oh, this is going to cost me a fortune.
It's just incredible. So what they decided to do is to look back at the 1930s ranges and revamp them for now.
Okay.
Bring in new colours, twists on the designs, and really play around with the floral images that were there. But when I heard that, I looked at the fabrics in a completely different way, because you can not only identify the fabrics from the seasons and you relate to the colourings, but you can then start to see historical elements in it as well, within the colourways and the actual patterns and the flowers that were around that we may or may not have anymore, but they're real sort of heritage pieces. So I found that fascinating.
With the whole history behind it, isn't it? Because
Oh.
as we say, obviously that iconic building that you see in London, and it's kind of on the edge of Covent Garden, isn't it, if I remember rightly? I'm not
It's
very
Great
good with
Marlborough
geography.
Street, just off Regent Street.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I remember visiting it as a child, and I was always in awe of its amazing ornate work inside.
This is it. If you're ever in the area, do
stunning.
go inside
Yes.
and have, even if you don't have to spend any money, just go and have a little look and experience it, because it's an amazing building.
Right, so I've stitched all those together. So your next task is ironing. Now this is the only ironing that most people like doing, or pressing. So normally I always press these seams open. Because I've starched beforehand, you get really good crisp seam openings.
Now, notice you've got the steam on your iron. Obviously,
It was
often when we're talking
purely-
about quilting, we say dry iron. Does it matter? Does it make a difference?
I haven't found it's made any difference. And to
Okay.
be perfectly honest, I didn't even know the steam was on this. This isn't my iron.
Fair enough.
It was put there for me and I switched it on. I do have to say I love this iron. Mr. D, if you're listening. But I haven't found it made any difference.
Oh, that's
What
good to
I have
know.
found
It's
the
the quality
difference,
again,
is putting the starch on beforehand, because then you're opening that seam really well. And it's not like ironing clothing at home or your bed linen. What you're actually doing is pressing, not ironing as
Yeah,
such.
so the key thing is you don't want to move the fabric too much, ideally, do
No,
you? So,
you want to set your seams.
Now, the spray that you've mentioned, do we sell that here at Hochanda?
Yes, it's on your
right,
website. It's
okay.
on the website,
Lovely.
as is the block that I'm working on as well.
Some of these items, incidentally, they're items that we don't necessarily feature within a show. They're what we call an end of call item, which means that if you're checking out your basket online or you're speaking to our call operators, they may suggest them to you. They're always worth having a little look at, because you can add them into your basket with no additional post and packing. So yeah, there's quite a few little goodies, little tips and little kind of gadgets that you'll often see our guests working with. So keep your eyes open for those ones as well.
Yeah, I'm a great tip person. And I like to pass on tips, because that's how you learn, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Every day is a learning day. So then what you're going to do is take your top part of your main bag fabric, and you're going to turn, again, right sides together. What you do want to end up with is your ribbon band being longer than your top bag piece, because that way you know that you're going to have everything incorporated once you've stitched the sides. So I'm going to just pin this together. You can wing it if you want to, but I do prefer to pin. And again, the other thing about starching your fabric is, as you're sewing, your seams stay flat, so you haven't got those wibbly seam sewing coming through.
So this is the other thing as well. I mean, many novice sewers might think to themselves, oh, it's Liberty. I don't know if I want to use Liberty as my first ever project. But because you've got the quality of the fabric, you're actually making life easier for yourself, to be honest.
Yes.
Because you've got the weave of the fabric, the quality of the fabric, so less opportunity for it to warp and move. Keeping it simple, to be honest. So it's probably one of the best ways for you to get started. Certainly at less than £35 being that minimal investment, your 2.5 metres worth of fabric we're talking, and your bag pattern as well, so that's the key thing. Really is an incredible price bundle.
So all I'm doing then is, again, a straight stitch at 1/4 inch, making sure that all my seams stay flat, so I'm not going to get any crinkles and wrinkles. Leave that for other parts. And then you just open that one up. Don't worry about pressing it just yet, because you might as well do the other one and press at the same time. So again, turn it round. Now this is where I'm going to just move my pressing block for a second. And I'm going to grab my rotary cutter.
Okay.
Because what I want to do is, I want to make sure that both sides of my bag front line up. Because I've got overhang, if I now trim off, and I would do this with a ruler, but again, aha, there it is, I've buried it. I'm just going to very quickly trim off those bits. You could snip them off with scissors, of course, if you haven't got a ruler and rotary cutter. Just watch your fingers with whatever you're doing with it. And I do actually even save these, because these could be tabs on something.
Good point, yeah, or the ends of zips and things like that. Yeah.
So, yeah, I literally save everything. Open that one out. Again, right sides together, so this is the bottom part of the bag, and I'm just going to match that up and pin it in place. I do like pinning. Pins stop fingers getting underneath
It
where they
keeps
shouldn't.
everything together, doesn't it, and pristine.
Yeah.
Makes life easier.
And when you start working with quilts and blocks and things, actually pinning things into place as you go, you don't lose your way, and you keep focused on what you're doing. Well, that's the theory anyway. So again, straight seam down. And you don't have to sew at breakneck speed, it's not compulsory. It's just, I can because I know it's straight.
So moving those pins out the way as you go.
So that is one side of the bag.
As easy as that.
Done.
Love it. Now, while you're getting yourself ready for the next part of your demonstration, we're going to have a look at those fabulous fabrics. Now, of course, we've been talking about your one-day special, and you'll see with many of these projects, there'll be other fabrics that come into play when you're working with them. So obviously, you've got your beautiful Liberty prints here, but to extend the use of those and almost the opportunity to showcase them, it's always important to have these blender fabrics included as well. That's what we've got for you. I'm just going to pop this back over on the shelf over there while I show you some of these, because these are beautiful. Now, many of them are going to work with the one-day specials in your different options. You've got your white, which of course is always a popular one. Half the stock of that one has gone already, so I think the white is actually down the far end. I think this one's kind of like a cream tone, but I think the whiter one, the oyster white, I don't know which one it is.
Oyster white is towards me.
Oyster white is this one. I feel like the exits are here and here. So this one is your oyster white. So it's slightly off with regards to these. So we'll go through them in this order that we've got here. But yeah, so is it the oyster white that half the stock has gone? My goodness, wow. Okay. Very busy for this one. So again, your half meters are going to match up with your one-day specials. That is going to work with any of those options that you've got. Maybe you're going for your spring or your summer. Well, the spring or your summer, then the next two will certainly be ones to look at. First one being primrose. Next one that we've got is your custard. Ooh, custard. So there you go, you can see with those ones. Now, a gorgeous pop of red that you've got there, that is your ruby. And your ruby and your cherry. Now, we heard the cherry mentioned a lot with the winter. So again, if you're going for that winter option of your one-day special, I'd certainly be considering adding that one in. Then the petal, well, this is it. This is going to work with many of them, especially the spring. So if you're going for the spring, these two together, I can see instantly when I'm looking at those gorgeous tones from the beautiful spring. They're featuring in there. So this particular one here is your rhubarb. Next one, again, you've got that gorgeous kind of muted dusky pink. This one's going to look lovely with your winter again. And that one's called Rhododendron, so if you're wanting that one. Now this one is a dusky lilac. It might look a little bit blue on your screen there, but it is more of a kind of a lilac tone. Again, that is going to work beautifully alongside your spring or your summer, to be honest. And then the lavender as well. There's little elements of your lavender within pretty much all of those different one-day specials. Then the blues. Now these are beautiful. These are going to lend themselves to everything. So this first one is called what? Sorry. Lake blue. I thought you said Leicester blue for a moment then, which it could have been, couldn't it really? So lake blue with this particular one, and then your gorgeous cloud. And again, these are going to work with any of those one-day specials because there's blue featuring in every single one of those. As we work our way across, I think we're going across them at this direction here, where you've got your storm, and this is beautiful. I mean, it's kind of like a bluey white. It's not as pale as a white, but it's certainly got that gorgeous blue hue. Again, if you're going for your spring or your summer. Oh, is that Klaus?
Yeah, that one's cloud. Yeah,
that one's cloud. I was going to say, because if we had storms like that in Redditch, I wouldn't mind that, because that's a lovely colour blue, isn't it?
Yeah, no.
This one's your storm,
That's
more
your
of
storm,
a grey tone with that one. And again, which one would you use that one in with?
I think that goes really well with the winter collection.
Yes,
yeah. And the deep blues, the indigo, the next one.
Well, this is it. These are definitely
beautiful.
the ones that I need to add into my basket alongside the winter as well. So this one is your chambray, so a bit like your chambray denim that you'll be looking at. And then you've got azure.
No, one more.
Hold on, that one there?
Yeah, you've missed one.
That was indigo.
That's
indigo, chambray, and then azure.
Yes.
And I'm pinning myself right against the quilt here as we get to the corner. We've got that beautiful, that's the azure. Then we're looking at the leaf, and then this one is that white. So bear in mind you've got your oyster white as well as your white. So either of those two, that is going to work beautifully with everything. Even more so with the spring and the summer, because you kind of got the crispness. The oyster white maybe more with your winter, but to be honest, they will work with either of them.
Yes.
Now you pick and mix, you've got your details on the screen there. You're going to choose any 2.5 metres. Could be 2 repeats of the same if you're wanting to. They're also nice fabrics. Can I show you this quilt here? I don't know whether you can see it there, but
do you want me to hold it up with you?
Well, hold on, let's go for it. I've got it. Because of the distance, unfortunately, although it is 1 metre long, let me hold it like that, you can see. That's just using those fabulous blender fabrics. So you can use them in their entirety if you're wanting to. And of course, you could use any of your patterns, to be honest, to pick out some fabulous designs then. I like that idea. But of course, using it to extend your one-day specials or any of those pick and mixes that you've got in your basket is definitely the way to go with regards to these. So beautiful size, that gorgeous, that one, pop that back.
And that's all just half square triangles, so it's a great
just shows you how
starter
versatile.
project. Yeah,
that's it.
Yep.
So there you go. If you're wanting to go for those fabulous blenders, then please do so. Now the project is, am I going to manage to get that back in place? I might need to pass that. I'm just going to gently place that somewhere neatly for somebody to magically put it back in place when I come back another time. The details on your screen there, so if you do want to go for those fabulous shadow fabrics, you've got lots of choice. We're busy for all of these, particularly the oyster white though. Don't forget, if that's the one that you're wanting, over half the stock has gone of that one. So 025 556 if you're wanting those. Choosing 2 of those, and of course if you want them to go for your one-day special, you'll be in very good company with those as well. So yeah, pop those into your basket. So how are you getting on over there,
I'm
Suzie?
good.
Is it coming together?
It is, yeah, we're moving on. So the next stage you're going to do is to put your wadding, or in my case, I've used the bonding wadding, heat bondable wadding. So I'm just going to heat that. Now this time I don't want steam on my iron. And I also want to make sure that none of it comes beyond the iron. Again, it's a press, not an iron with these things.
Sometimes it's getting into the mentality of not moving your iron backwards and forwards.
You start doing your sheets, don't you? Yeah. I do the counting thing. So if I count my way round, then I don't move my arm. So I have done, here's one I did earlier. So it's exactly the same. I've just put it on both sides of the bag, so you know that it's not going anywhere. But you could use your spray adhesive and put wadding down. It's up to you. Now this is the time to do any quilting stitching that you want to do. So if you want to do stitch in the ditch or top stitch like I did on this one, now's the time to do it, because you don't want to be doing it when your bag's assembled.
This is a good point, when it's nice and flat.
Absolutely.
Incidentally, a quarter of the stock has gone of the winter option that we can see Susie's working with. Obviously the fabrics that she's using for the bag that she's creating, but also her fabulous kind of kimono that she's wearing as well. So if the winter option is your choice, then I would definitely be getting hold of it while you've got the chance.
So the next thing you want to do is concentrate on making the pocket. Now what I've done with the pocket is create it so that it's lined itself.
Okay.
So you've got pretty fabrics everywhere, because they are just such gorgeous fabrics. You need to do that. So you choose 3 of your fabrics that you've got left and just cut yourself a piece. Now I've made it so that I think they're about 10 inches long, if I remember rightly. 2.5 inches wide, and you're again straight seams. I don't do anything dodgy, and you're going to join them 3 pieces together. Okay. So I'm just going to whiz those. Again, it's a 1/4 inch seam, and again do one way, the next one the other way, and then you'll keep them straight. So that one went that way. So this one wants to go the opposite way.
Fabulous.
So right sides together again. And off we go.
I can't believe that time is just literally flying out during this time. About 15 minutes left on the show, just to let you know.
So I don't think we'll get the bag finished.
Okay, well, don't forget,
So
we've got 4 other shows, so you could come back to that if you want to.
We are going to do that, yeah.
Ah,
so,
okay.
Oh, and look at that. For some reason, it didn't stitch it. I know why.
Oh, you need your needle come unthreaded.
My thread decided to come undone, so...
Well, while you're getting your machine ready, and I know that we'll be looking at another way of working with these fabulous fabrics in a few moments, so we're going to let Susie get herself ready. But as we've mentioned there, many of the demonstrations for each of the hours are going to transfer over onto the next, so make sure you watch each of the shows, and you'll see many of those projects coming together over the series of the next 24 hours. But of course, we've kicked things off with the one-day special, and it's been a phenomenal one-day special. Lots of you loving these in all 3 of the options. Now, of course, we've got the winter being the first option. This one, 1/4 of the stock has gone, and this is where you've got those beautiful kind of cherry reds in there, those gorgeous blues featuring in here as well, some soft pinks in there, really warm and cozy colours with these, but not winter as in a kind of a dark and you're thinking of a winter night. It's just in a comforting feel. I think these look absolutely beautiful, as you can see. Now, each one of your one-day specials is going to come with a fabulous bag pattern, and of course it's the bag that Susie has been showing us how to create throughout. So nice easy instruction with all the dimensions that she's been sharing with us for you to create your Liberty Flower Show bag, as you can see there. So that is your winter option. That is your first of your options. Next one is your summer. Now, summer, I've been busy with this summer one. Over 20% of the stock has gone. We've had huge quantities of these incidentally as well. So yes, lots featuring within here. Again, as we were looking at those blender fabrics a few moments ago, you can see lots of different colours in here. Your light tones, those yellows, different tones of your yellows. Again, the mustard that was with those filler fabrics, those blender fabrics would be beautiful with this one. And again, that one, a lovely combination with that gorgeous kind of turquoise that we saw from the bag that Susie has already created before the show. So that one is your summer option. Third and final option with your one-day special is your spring. And again, I mean, it's a difficult one to call. I just want them all. That's the trouble. I'm just greedy. Now with this one, again, what was the update on this one? 20% as well. So again, it's very level pegging really across all of these, isn't it? This one again, nice tones. This one I think is a nice one if you don't know the colour scheme of where it's going into, because you've got colours in here, lots of colours in here, but nothing that's overly strong. So you've got quite neutral tones within here. Your florals, obviously you've got your greens in there as well. Green is a fabulous fabric, a colour of nature that's going to blend in with everything. So certainly if you're making something for somebody and you're not too sure of their colour scheme, or you want it to go pretty much in any room, then maybe the spring is the one to look to. And again, you're going to get your bag pattern in here as well. So 327 511 if you're wanting to get hold of this, this is your one-day special. You've got that phenomenal deal, saving £10, and of course you have got the ability to spread the cost with those. So Susie, are we coming over to you now? Sorry,
we
I put you on the spot
certainly.
there.
I'm just trying to thread a needle. So I thought that we'd put the bag on hold.
Okay.
And we'd have a look at the EPP kit. So English paper piecing is the alternative method of sewing, hand sewing, to create your project. So with the kit, you're going to get your 40 hexagons pre-cut for you. So you, again, you haven't got the hassle of trying to find a template the right size. You've got it, every single one is identical.
And that's a real time saver, isn't it? Having all of those there ready for you to get started.
I mean, I hate cutting anything because I just think I want to get on and make it.
It's sewing time, isn't it?
Exactly, exactly. And in the kit, you're getting your papers as well. So the first thing you're going to do when you get your kit is to find your fabrics and your papers, and you're going to put them together. Now, for this, we've even given you the pen that you need. How good are we? We're really good. But it makes a massive difference. Now, traditional English paper piecing, you used to baste or tack stitch your papers to the back of your fabrics. And I remember doing that.
See, that's in my top 10 of things I don't like doing when I'm sewing. Cutting is one of them and basting is another. Those are two things that really do not want to do.
Do you know what I discovered on my sewing machine the other day? A basting stitch.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Superb. Anyway, we digress. So what we have given you is a Sew Line glue pen.
Okay.
And this has revolutionised paper piecing for me. So all you do is you're going to place your paper on the back of your fabric. Make sure it is the back of your fabric. And the reason I say that is because twice when I was gluing, the Wiltshire shadows are such beautiful tone-on tones, but the blue I had upside down twice.
Oh no!
Because Liberty screen print their fabrics.
Okay, right.
So you get a really deep colour coming through the fabric. It's not just surface digitally printed. They are all screen printed.
See, this is something that we're not used to, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
I suppose.
So do watch that you've got your fabrics the right way up. So paper on the back of the fabric, the glue pen, just twist it up just a fraction. You don't need loads, a bit like you use your lipsticks or lip balms, and you're just putting a small amount of glue on the fabric. Don't put it on the papers. And you're going to use the edge of your paper as your guide and work round in one direction. If you're right-handed, it will probably be clockwise. If you're left-handed, I suspect it might be anti-clockwise. But whatever works for you, but do it systematically and make sure you're bending right over the top of the papers. And the pen will last you for way more than the kit contents, because you literally are just putting a small amount on.
Now, of course, we can't guarantee which of the collections are going to feature within your bundle because it is contents will vary. But to be honest, they all complement each of the one-day specials. So you might be fortunate if you're adding this in alongside your one-day special to get one featuring. Like this one here, this has got the spring fabrics in. So if you've gone for the one-day special and you're getting your English paper piecing with your spring fabrics, then this could be helping you create cushions to go alongside your quilt that you're creating maybe with your one-day special. It's only £21.20. That's almost like a gift price, that, isn't it?
It's beautiful. I mean, if you have got a friend who loves doing a bit of hand sewing, or you don't have to hand sew, you can machine stitch these together, you don't have to use the papers. It's a beautiful little present for somebody, especially if they're feeling a bit isolated and rough. It's a good cheer me up present.
And you can pick it up and put it down. If you've only got 10-15 minutes to sew, then you can do that quite easily. And
putting the papers on is a great thing to do when you're sat in front of a box or sat in the garden. I do mine sat in the garden.
Well, this is it. It's portable, isn't it? We were away in a motorhome last week, and I wish I'd taken I didn't think to take my paper piecing with me, but yeah.
I need to give you lessons.
I know.
I have more in the car in the way of to-dos than I do actually anything else. So then you're going to start stitching when you've done all of your pieces, you'll have them ready to sew together. And I've put them down somewhere again. So what you then need to do to sew is, obviously you need your thread, you need a fine needle, because you're only picking up the merest threads either side as you sew. And this product, Thread Magic, which again is on the website, we have on the show, is the best thing to condition your thread.
Okay.
And I actually use this for all my hand sewing. And I run all my sewing threads through it. It just stops that knotting and throwing, and all you're going to do is just squish it down into the thread magic. I actually passed my needle with the thread through it the other day, which you can do if you've got a long enough needle. This needle's a bit short, so I couldn't do it. And just hold on to the end and pull it through. It doesn't make it sticky.
Okay.
It's not a sticky product, but what it will stop is any of that friction issue, so you get fraying. You're not going to have that. So even for jewellery, if you're a seed beader, this stuff is just fabulous. Thread magic is definitely the way forward for seed beading.
Oh, okay.
Because
I like the idea of that.
Your Nymo or whatever it is you're using going all frayed halfway through a project, because there is nothing worse than frayed thread.
Well, also as well, when your thread often comes off the spool, especially when you get into the end of a spool, it seems to whip up, doesn't it? It's kind of that spiral wound that it's got, and it's just waiting to wrap around itself. So I love the idea of anything that's helping with that. It's only £9.99, as you can see there. So if you're wanting yours, 148907, and of course adding it into a flexi order, you're spreading the cost of that as well.
And it lasts for ages. It's not a product that is going to disappear with any great speed. And look at that, put your glasses on and you can actually thread a needle. It's amazing, isn't it? So by the magic of television, here's some I made earlier.
Just to give you a time check, Susie, we've got about 5 minutes left.
Okay, that's cool. So to sew these together, as with sewing, it's right sides together, and you can see I've matched my corners of my, I'm going to use these ones I think, because then I can sew them on my project in a minute. You can put them together. If you prefer, you can hold them or you can just pin them. But what you're now going to do is something called a whip stitch. So you take your, and I don't knot my thread. I know when I was here before, I showed everybody how to do a knicker knot.
Oh, okay.
Which has proved quite amazing comments have come back.
I can imagine.
This was one I was shown by a lovely lady from Australia called Sue Daly. So you take your needle through, hold your thread end, put your needle back in. Again, remember you're only picking up very merest of threads.
So
you
you're
don't
not going
want
to
to
the
touch the
papers.
card.
Okay.
Yeah? Take one end of your thread round one side of your needle and hold it out the way. Take the bottom end of your thread, the bit that's coming out the end of your needle, the opposite way around the front of your needle and hold it out the way.
Okay.
And then pull your needle. And as you pull, making sure you're not picking up anything else, it knots itself.
Oh,
but it's a really neat, tiny knot that when you
close
open
to where you need it to be.
Absolutely, and you don't see it once you open up your sewing. And then all you're going to do then is to literally, now this is the whip stitch, and they call it a whip stitch, I presume, because you literally whip your hand over and over again. And I'm not taking any of the paper with me as I go. I am just picking up
tiny, tiny bit of the fabric.
The fabrics. That's it.
Wonderful.
And you do all that all the way to the end. Now, how many you do is up to you.
Does it matter how big a gap you have between those stitches at all?
It depends what your project is, but the idea is that you get them so close together, which is why you're doing it like this, with them across, that they look like they're one big piece. You can't actually see the joins, so to speak. You can see the different shape. Yeah, exactly. And because of that, I probably go a bit closer than most people.
Personal preference, I guess.
It is. I mean, there are probably hard and fast rules about it. So many per inch.
There's bound to be a competition.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure people can get more than 16 to an inch if they really try. I'm sure I could if I really tried, but that would be literally every thread.
Tiniest
but
thread.
if I open this up now, let's just get to the end. A couple more stitches, and we're there. So at the other end, so even if I go on to now work another piece on, I am going to cast off at this. You don't continue your thread, because if anything came undone, say you would turn this into a big quilt, if it came undone in years to come, you'd be really upset if half of it unravelled as opposed to one piece. So just get into the habit of casting off. So I call it casting off, it's not, it's knotting off. So this is again the knicker knot. So one side of the thread comes one way round the needle, the back end of the thread comes the other way, hold it out the way and just pull it through. Such a simple thing to do, and then I can snip. And if I open this up, you can see what I mean about not seeing anything.
Perfect, look at that, a seamless finish.
Cool,
Suzie, thank you for that. Thank you
right.
so much. Now, of course, don't forget the details are popping away from your screen, but you'll find this on the website if you are wanting to get your set. Now, we've only down to the last 30 seconds of the hour. Where has the time gone? We're still busy for that one day special. And, of course, do make sure you come back and revisit the show. Did have an email come through, which we haven't had a chance to ask. I will ask Suzie, not now for the answer, but do tune in at 8 o'clock. Wanting to know how many of the bags that we can actually make from the one day special. So there's a bit of homework for you.
I'll go and work it out.
And so Suzie can work that out for you, and do come back at 8 o'clock and she'll be able to share that information with you. But which of the one day specials have you gone for? Have you gone for your winter, your summer, your spring? I don't know how you choose these, but Suzie, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Lovely. Yeah,
I think I've had a fabulous time. You're going to have a fabulous time with your one day special as well. So make sure you come back at 8 o'clock to learn more from the fabulous Suzie, and of course your one day special.